Greetings, earthlings! Welcome to Oddball Craze. This week, the Pokemon Company wants you to fall asleep while watching their new show, Sonic's dad goes to jail, and Elden Ring will eventually have updates. And Sony loses a lawsuit over loot boxes. That, and more, on this quick weekly update. Let's talk about the studio that created Forspoken for just a moment. Luminous Productions, who has had multiple names over the years, has been officially rolled into the main Square Enix brand. Luminous was created as a subsidiary with the purpose of expanding the video games and introducing them into other markets, though that didn't really happen as the team gained recognition for its Luminous engine, which has been the backbone of Final Fantasy games. There is no confirmation at this point, but it seems that Forspoken was the team's chance to prove their independence and prowess, but unfortunately didn't do a good enough job, and so Square Enix is absorbing them to keep a closer eye on quality. The official statement is that Luminous will provide a AAA development capabilities. With the next Final Fantasy entry being an action game, this might be a perfect opportunity for the Luminous team. From Software has finally announced their DLC plans for Elden Ring. Well, sort of. They've announced that they are starting to develop DLC, which seems weird for a game that was released over a year ago. So, when can we expect this exciting DLC that is just starting development and only has artwork at this time? Not until after Armored Core 6 releases, according to Xputer, which isn't expected to take place until September or October later this year. On one hand, releasing an update 2 years after a game's launch seems slow, dumb, and ill-advised. On the other hand, I have to respect that From Software had a roadmap for their future and are sticking to it, regardless of Elden Ring's popularity. Anyone working on Elden Ring was probably shifted into the Armored Core team as soon as they were available, and now that is their focus. It will be interesting to see what the DLC pack will include, since it will need to rejuvenate a customer base that has moved on to other titles. Hopefully they pull a Splatoon or Xenoblade and release what could be a standalone game as an expansion, making the whole package appealing to those who missed out on the original run of the game and rewarding those who rode the ride at launch. You know what's gotta go fast? That's Sonic. But do you know who wishes he could run fast? Sonic's creator Yuji Naka, as he has now pled guilty to insider trading charges that we talked about previously. The charges are based on Naka buying stock in third-party companies that he already knew would receive contracts to create games for Square Enix, using his private knowledge to exploit the company's stocks. Specifically, these charges are related to A-Team, the developers of mobile games in the Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest franchises. After learning that A-Team would get the contract to develop the games, he would then buy stock in the company before the partnership was announced publicly. You're not allowed to do that. This guilty plea focuses strictly on Naka's actions with A-Team, so there are still charges out there for insider trading when it comes to the company aiming. Pokemon Day happened last week, and with it came announcements about DLC for Scarlet and Violet, a premium card game set, a new television series from Netflix, and tying every video game you can imagine into Pokemon Go or Pokemon Home. The event kicked off with some special announcements for just about every Pokemon Gacha game they have, free emeralds, bonus character interactions, and a bunch of stuff to get you back into playing these gacha games. Most of them are live right now, so if you are into mobile titles, go get some free stuff and get addicted all over again. A new stop-motion animation show was revealed to be in the works with Netflix. Pokemon Concierge takes place on an island where Pokemon go to unwind, while we follow the life of a resort employee and her interactions with various Pokemon. Since the show has Netflix involvement, I'm excited to learn all the deviant sexual behaviors Pokemon exhibit in hotel rooms. No release date was announced. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are getting a DLC adventure that's split into 2 parts. The Hidden Area Zero Part 1 will be releasing in fall, with Part 2 following in winter. These updates introduce new Pokemon, new characters, and new areas to explore. There was no mention of upcoming bug fixes or performance improvements, so hopefully players will be able to experience this new content with more than 13 frames per second. And finally, Pokemon Sleep is going to start shipping sometime. After a wait of over 3 years, almost 4, we have received an update on Pokemon Sleep. As expected, it's mobile software that tracks your sleeping habits. Using the sensors in your phone, the software will log when you are restless, sleeping, or experiencing deep sleep, also known as REM. It looks like they're wrapping it up in a video game experience, so that's pretty interesting. Although I imagine this will only promote restless nights, as we all anticipate destroying our competition in competitive sleep tournaments. For once, the laziest gym leaders will have the advantage. Of course, new Pokemon news wouldn't be complete without some new hardware, so Pokemon Sleep will work with the new Pokemon Go Plus, Pokemon Go Plus, which will work with both Go and Sleep, including Pikachu singing lullabies. I would also point out that everyone in the marketing material is an adult. Just observation. But seriously, never mind. In Austria, Sony has just lost their initial lawsuit regarding loot boxes. Customers took a gamble and sued Sony over the practice of providing loot boxes in the FIFA soccer games, claiming that they amounted to nothing more than, quote, illegal gambling. See, you need a license to let people gamble, and Sony doesn't have a gambling license, so any kind of contract or end-user license agreement becomes invalid. The court agrees and has ordered Sony to reimburse players that bought FIFA Ultimate Team packs. That doesn't sound like much of a punishment, with the average claim being 800 euros? Wowza! And that's just the average. The largest claim is up to 85,000 euros. That's over 90,000 US dollars. I think most consumers agree that random loot boxes are similar to, if not outright gambling, but I'm not sure making laws will really protect those who have spent this kind of money on digital characters. There's a lack of self-control, of self-respect, or a disability that triggers this kind of spending habit. The fear of missing out is powerful. Speaking of missing out, that might just be what happens to the thousands of consumers involved in this ruling, as Sony still has the opportunity to appeal. You might be wondering why Sony is the one being sued in lieu of EA, who publishes the FIFA games. It's simple, really. Sony demands that all purchases go through their storefront so that they get a cut of all products sold. It's also why you couldn't buy DLC on Xbox and play it on PlayStation at one time. Therefore, making Sony the payment processor and the seller, and the one responsible for loot boxes. Wo Long has been released on Steam, and with it comes the accolade of being Team Ninja's best launch on the platform. The game was sitting at number 3 for global sales, at least until people got the opportunity to play it and review the game. It's getting eviscerated by users for piss-poor performance. The top comments seem to be, "It really is as bad as people say." So, with the negative tag on Steam, the game quickly dropped to 13th place. After watching some reviews that monitor PC resources, it becomes clear that the game is designed for specific hardware, perhaps a specific console, with button layouts that match the PlayStation 5. If you're interested in Wo Long, maybe say so long to the PC version and try it elsewhere if you can. And that's it for this quick weekly update. Thank you for watching Oddball Craze. Like it if you like it, comment if you comment, follow it if you follow. If not, don't. Until next time, so long, mortals.